What's going on, Colts Nation? I appreciate you joining me for another video where in this one, I want to talk a little bit about the defense and kind of what the expectations are from where we've been to where we are. A couple days ago, we talked about the secondary. And, judging by the views on that video, some of you may not have seen that, and that's fine. But going through this, want to continue talking about this defense because it's obviously been a sore spot for us, even when the last couple seasons offensively has been so inconsistent, sometimes so incredibly difficult to watch, and still finding ways to put up 20 points a game. Right, and the defense has definitely been a part of that. There was the game a couple years ago where Kenny Moore ends up with 2 interception return for a touchdown in Carolina. We put up 21 points, right? The offense didn't. But as a team, we're finding ways to put up more than 20 points. But we continue to lose games because the defense, we can't get people off the field on third down. The pass game, giving up too many big plays in the pass game, right? We pretty good at stopping the run sometimes, right? But then, of course, you can point back to some games, right? Derrick Henry when he was in Tennessee and having trouble stopping him and other running backs along the way, right? But specifically the Packers game last year was just awful to watch. Just could not stop anybody running the ball. Did a better job in the second half than the first, but nonetheless gave up a lot on the ground. So this team as a whole, this defense as a whole, needed an overhaul. And I think getting Lou Anarumo was a great first step in that, which we've definitely talked about this offseason. And I think we all just kind of knew you get somebody other than Gus Bradley and you're going to have a better chance for success, right? You can't roll out there with a predictable defense. You can't go out there with the same look time and 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 time again and expect to have success. They were literally not setting their players up for success, which is the whole point of being a leader. Like, no matter where you're a leader, right? My day job, I'm a leader. It is my job to go to work and to set my employees up in a position where they're going to be successful and where the business can be successful. It is the same thing on the football field with these coaches and what their job is. So replacing Gus Bradley is an important first step. Right? Great human being. I'm talking about Gus Bradley as a coach. Let's get that right, because Gus Bradley, he is a good guy. By all accounts, very likable. Just as a defensive coordinator, it was time to move on. Probably time to move on a long time ago, but it was time to move on. So now we sit in a position where we have Lou Anarumo, who has exactly what you want as a defensive coordinator, which is he's not going to roll out the same packages all the time. From game to game, he's going to roll out looks that are going to they're going to mimic each other, but when the snap happens, the defense is doing different things. And on this defense, I've said it so many times last year and through this offseason, as we go into this season, we have so many, and this is, of course, my belief, and of course, I'm biased because I'm a Colts fan. I think we have a bunch of dogs on defense. You got to take the dogs off the leash and let the boys hunt. Lou Anarumo is going to do that. And I think we saw that during training camp. Even the little bit I was able to get my eyes on it in the 3 training camp practices, but then all the other training camp practices, everything we heard, there's part of it that you could say is concerning because offense couldn't be consistent and couldn't keep things going. But as a Colts fan, I'm kind of okay with that. I think the offense, with the way the quarterback was, like as long as you have a quarterback in place, like a single quarterback, and he can get in a rhythm at some point in the offense, and we have Jonathan Taylor and getting him back in rhythm this year after the way he ended last season was so great. Like, I think the offense can come along, and really on the defensive side, like the continuity of the guys on that defense, and now they're in a position where they're going to be thrusted into a position where they can succeed. So now that you're taking the dogs off the leash, they are going to be what my main focus is as we go into this, right? And again, going back to the training camp practices where Laiatu Latu was incredibly disruptive in so many practices. We know when it's game time, DeForest Buckner's going to turn it on. Grover Stewart's going to do his thing, right? It's really that 4 spot on the defensive line that you're really looking at. But overall, we have depth on the defensive line. We still have Kwity Paye playing on his 5th-year option this year. We have Tyquan Lewis, Samson Ebicom's coming back. And, of course, his first year with us was a pretty good year. Right, I don't think he ended up getting double digit. If I'm not mistaken, he got to 9 sacks in his first year with us. Of course, missed all of last season, and we had to miss his production. But we're getting him back, plus adding JTT, right? Second round out of Ohio State. JT Tuamalo. I gotta work on pronouncing that, but you guys know who I'm talking about, JTT. And so we have depth on that defensive line, right? That outside spot on the opposite side of Latu is going to be filled. And when Latu has to come off the field, there's going to be a serviceable guy stepping in. Now, I do think Latu this year is like what we thought he could be in the NFL last year. I think is going to come to fruition this year, and it kind of played out like if you were here last year, during the offseason, a lot last year leading up to the season, I said Latu's a guy who in his rookie year could easily be a 12-sack guy, but we have Gus Bradley, and Gus Bradley isn't the type of guy that's going to play the best guy. He wants to use the rotation, which cool, you want to keep guys fresh, but your best players, in order for you to have success in the NFL, your best players have to play. And Lou's going to be able to do that. So Latu, just judging from what we've seen so far, right, Latu's going to be a problem. And lining him up next to DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart, like that defensive line is going to be really good. Stopping the run is really going to be the big obstacle. If the preseason tells us anything, the secondary is going to be just fine. Right, I honestly believe that, but overall, we're going to have to be able to stop the run. Luckily, we are getting healthy in the secondary, right? But we have guys like Tarvarius Ward, Nick Cross, and his continued development, Cam Bynum and his smarts, and now he can be right there with Nick Cross. Like, hey, man, these are the things that we're doing in this defense. These are the things you should look for. These are the keys you need to use. And this is the objective of what we're trying to do out here. I think Cam Bynum can be a good veteran present for a guy like Nick Cross, who I think had a good development up to last year. And then in this new defense, I think he can be really good. Then you go get Xavier Howard. Yeah, past his prime, but a really solid veteran addition right there. Somebody who's been great in this league. And then, of course, you have Kenny Moore. Right. And then beyond that, you still have, you traded for Mekhi Blackman. You have Jalen Jones, Jonathan Edwards. Earned his spot on this roster. No mistaking it. He earned his spot on this roster, right? So cornerback depth, defensive line depth, two things we've struggled with, and we got it. Now, of course, on the interior of the defensive line, we need our big boys to stay healthy. We need Grove and we need Buck. Those guys got to stay healthy. I do like the addition of Neville Gallimore, but it's an obvious step down from what we have. Like, we have two of the most physically imposing interior defensive linemen in the league in their own rights, right? Of course, DeForest Buckner, 6'7", over 300 pounds, and you have Grover Stewart, who's maybe the strongest person in the NFL. I'm just going to put that out there. If there was a competition for it, he might legitimately be the strongest person in the NFL. And so with where we're at on the defense, how stacked we are on the defensive line, in the secondary now, which is a far cry from where we've been in years past. I expect a lot from this defense, from a defense that under Gus Bradley just got worse. Like, we took a step back from Eberflus in that first year, and then another step back and another step back. And now with Lou, I expect us the rise to go. And it might not even be pretty right away. We play Tua, and he has Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Devon Achan's going to be ready. They just drafted Ollie Gordon, who coming into the NFL I thought was going to be good. It's unfortunate that we got to play in week 1. But nonetheless, we're going up against a high-powered offense in week 1. So it's going to be tested. This new defense, these guys are going to be tested right away. And it might not be pretty, right? You're talking about an offense that's going to have a different quarterback. You got to get into a rhythm, and then a defense with a new defensive coordinator, new scheme, a lot of guys in this for the first time, and so there might be mistakes, and sometimes it might not be perfect, but you're not looking for perfection. You're looking for the team to come together and find a way to win a game, right? And I think this defense, even against that Miami team, but as we go through the season, I expect them to get better. not even that I wouldn't be surprised that this defense is better. I would almost be shocked if this isn't a top 12 at worst defense. Top 12 at worst. I expect Latu to be disruptive in the same ways that TJ Watt is disruptive. Now, I'm not saying he's going to come out second year and be TJ Watt right away, but I do think he's going to have a massive impact on how this season goes. I think having him and his impact is going to help DeForest Buckner have even more of an impact, right? And you can't double team everybody, so it's going to be a chess game from game to game, and I expect the defense to take a massive step forward. Now, of course, the linebacker position's one that we're looking to continuously get better at. Where we brought AWalk back. A lot of people remember Anthony Walker. AWalk is back. He's put on the practice squad. We have Zaire Franklin Jobachi, who was making some good plays in training camp. He was kind of all over the place, so feel good about him. And it'll be interesting, as I sit here and look at the depth chart. It's a, base 4-3 defense is how it's labeled on ESPN, of course, in a multiple package, the different multiple packages. I'll be interested to see. I expect it to be Joe Bacci. He's played in this system for a while. He kind of got stuck in the depth chart with some really good linebackers over there in Cincinnati. But seemingly through training camp was making a lot of plays. So I expect him to be on the field more than Cameron McGrone. But nonetheless, he's there. Jalen Carlisle is going to miss at least the first 4 games. We'll see when he comes back. But I feel really confident in this defense. As somebody who loves defense, low scoring games isn't really what a whole lot of people like, but I like to watch good defense happen. I think good offense is great for excitement in a game, but getting good defense in like not just a team being bad at offense. If your defense can make a team bad at offense and be creative, like that's stuff that I love to watch. And I think this defense can be a lot of fun to watch this year. I think it's going to be much better than it has been in years past. And I can't wait for next Sunday when we finally get to watch this all come into action and really all start to come together, right? So these are my thoughts on the defense, just kind of where I'm at and what I'm thinking of. I think about this defense every day. I can't wait to see this defense in action. I'm glad we're getting healthy offensively and defensively, getting healthy before week 1, which is exactly what we needed. So many injuries through training camp, but they let a lot of guys sit for a lot of time. So coming up on Monday in the preparations for the Dolphins, I'm going to be very interested to see who else comes back to practice. We've had a lot of guys come back. Who else is going to be able to come back to practice as we start preparing for the Dolphins? And, of course, when that happens, I'll give you guys the updates as soon as I possibly can. Just remember, I do have a day job, but I'll always get information to you guys as soon as I possibly can. So you let me know what you think about the defense. What are your expectations, week 1 against the Dolphins? What are your expectations as we go through the season? I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking. Am I being too biased? You let me know your thoughts on this defense and your expectations down in the comment section. And, of course, if you enjoy the content, make sure to hit the like button and make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you continue to get notified anytime we drop any content on this channel. Of course, appreciate you stopping by for another video. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.